What's going on, YouTube? Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, you know how we do it. Start off with a great big thank you to all of our men and women in all branches of service. Thank you so much for doing what you do, so the rest of us are free to do what we do. Okay, so today we are going to go over some simple builds, a good starting point for building your own coils. All the tools that I will be using come out of this Coil Master kit. That is the version 2. They just came out with a version 3 of that. There's so many different tools out there. I think the Coil Master kit is a great kit to get started. I've used it since I bought it. It's going to be used in this video here. Allen tools I use are Allen drivers. It's a kit that I had from when I was doing RC cars. Whatever you use to tighten your leads down, that's fine. All right, so without getting too rambly, let's drop down to the table. We're gonna go over a simple micro coil, contact coil, a spaced coil, and some twisted wire coils. Without being any more rambly, I think I just said that because I'm rambling. Let's take a look at these coils. Alright, so like I said, everything that we're going to be using today comes in the Coil Master kit. I have the version 2, which has the version 3 Coil Master in it. Simply pick the size inner diameter you want for your coil, put it into the coiling jig, grab the corresponding end piece, and we simply wrap some coils. So you can see that there's, depending on which way you want to spin, is where you put this. I typically spin overhand. Grab a hold of that. Slides over the top, and then that little post, simply you just spin. And we hit the camera. 1, 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to do 10, 9, and 10. And depending on what kind of atomizer you're putting this on. Now you see this one lead is sticking off this way. That's as simple as grabbing it and pulling it. Now we're starting with Kanthal. That's a great place to start. It's a great all-around wire. Performs real well. Super easy to work with. But now, like I said, depending on what kind of atomizer you're putting in, we're going to be putting it in a my old Limitless has a velocity deck, so the way that these leads are coming off, one high, one low, that's going to be perfect. If we were putting it into something that we wanted the leads to be even, then all you have to do is bend down to a 90. See how this is coming out to a 90, and then you can simply take this one and bend it back to match. And you can use pliers, you can do it by hand simply like that. I did real quick just because it was, it's easy. And you can fix so much. I'm going to pull this back out because we're going into a velocity deck. Alright, we're going to grab some pliers and pull it back out because it's fighting us right now. There. And so there's a simple contact coil. Now, if you want a spaced coil, I'm going to do the exact same thing. That in there. Grab your top, put it in there, and spin. I'm going to do this off camera so I don't hit the camera. There we go. Perfect letter second coil. If you're doing a dual coil, you grab your first coil and make sure that they're the same width apart so they match. And there you go. Then you're ready to mount. Now what if you don't want a contact microcoil? What if you want a spaced coil? And my understanding is space coils are great for temp control. I'm not a temp guy, I don't use it. But a space coil will also give you a different kind of vape. How do you make that? Well, you start with this. And then you simply grab your outer leads and stretch it. Keep it on your post so it stays straight. And it doesn't have to be pretty when you stretch it. It doesn't matter what it looks like when you first stretch it. Get your nails in there and pull it. Now you can see this is where we started, and you're not going to get that in your atomizer. You simply push it together and it spaces itself back out, and now you've got a beautiful little spaced coil. So actually we're going to get back in the camera. There you go. Now you're ready to mount these. Alright, so we are going to grab my old Limitless. If you're interested in this, I did do kind of a video. I melted my top cap, so my time with it got cut short. Okay, so we're going to start with the contact coil. And these leads are super long, so we're going to shut these down just a little bit. One trick is to have one lead longer than the other. And now, because our leads, one high, one low, just like in the atomizer, you've got one high and one low. And we're going to be stretched out. You can see that. Now, one thing that is fantastic about these coils is they're very forgiving. They give you lots of room to change things. And we're going to grab my Allen tool here. And we're going to tighten the correct leads. Tighten it down good and tight, and now you can see that that's kind of janky and that's not where you want it, but it doesn't matter because you put your tool back in and pull it out a little bit. These coils are always going to have some stretch. Lift it up, push it down, get it where you want it. Now this coil is ready to dry fire. Simply drop your coiling tool, grab your snips, snip your leads. There you go, ready to dry fire. So here is our spaced coil, and it goes in exactly the same way. You simply, your high lead goes in the high hole, your low lead goes into the low hole, and put it in and tighten it down. Again, once you tighten it down, the coil's not where you want it. All you have to do is pull it out, lift it up, move it around, get it where you want it, and where your airflow is, or any of those types of things. It doesn't matter. So you clip the leads, and space coils do not need to be dry fired. They will heat evenly right out of the box. You don't have to do nothing else. All right, so now this coil here is not going to need any work. This coil will probably not fire directly, perfect right out of the gate. So we're going to pulse it. We need to make sure that we're not giving it too much wattage. You always start with a low wattage when you start pulsing. Let's go down, not up. All right, so start adding some heat. And you may need to pinch. See, now we're not glowing even. Okay, now if we want to straighten that out, we're going to pinch a little bit and fire with our ceramic tweezers. So now we're still not firing, so you take the backside of your tweezers and just strum. Do that to the coil a couple times. Oh, see, now we're heating a lot better. And you'll notice on the opposite side that space coil I've done nothing to, and it's heating beautifully. And now our micro coil is heating exactly where we need it to. There you go. You're ready to throw cotton in there after it cools and vape it. All right, so here's those twisted coils mounted up in my Griffin 25 Mini. This is basically a like a Velocity style deck. It's slightly modified, but they mount pretty much the same. So first reading we're getting is a 0.20. So we're going to start at about 40 watts, and we're going to start applying a little bit of power. We're just going to pulse it, hit the button, release, hit the button, release. And we're going to see where our hot spots are, where we need to pinch, where we need to strum. And the more wire you have, the more it's not going to heat up really evenly to first start. And you strum as it's cooling. Never fire the coils and pulse at the same time. All right, see, now we got this side of this coil is not heating, so we're going to take our ceramic tweezers, we're going to pinch and pulse. Now, these take a little more, and these ones actually cleaned up really quickly. We're going to throw a little more power at them. Pretty much, we're there. Now you see this one farthest from me over here, this one's heating up way faster. We want them to heat evenly. This is why the more complex your build gets, the more you're going to have to tweak with them. Now this coil is warm, so I'm going to have to do this kind of quickly. Push that over just a little bit. Oops. That's not too bad. This far one here is still heating faster. So you take your tweezers and you pinch again. Let that cool for a second. Oh, see, I just gave us another hot spot. That's why I'm messing with it. It's gonna take some time. Oh, see, now we're going. This. There we go. All right, we're gonna see now after pulsing, we're reading a 0.31. But those are glowing pretty nicely. Okay, so there's some of the tricks that I've picked up. That's some of what I do when I build. If you're curious, this build that we just put in the Griffin 25 Mini came out to a 0.31 after pulsing and cotton and all that. It's vaping pretty good. I've been having troubles getting this thing to wick really well, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the coils. Coil building's easy. If you get some tools, if you get some knowledge, there's all kinds of videos out there. There's, this video right now. Hopefully you're still watching. If you are, thank you. You people are my favorite. There's all kinds of builds out there. The round wire build is really where you need to start. They're super easy. They vape really well. The spaced coil I've used a little bit, but that's not my cup of tea. The twisted build, I haven't done a more simple build in quite a while. I put Clapton, some sort of fused Clapton alien staple build in pretty much everything I run anymore. So this is a nice stepping back. It's, I was doing this when I first started. There's all kinds of information out there. Pristine builds, Mr. M Turk, that's where I learned how to build aliens. Squid Dude, great builder, great tutorials. There's all kinds of information out there. If you guys are interested in how I build some of the more complex coils, let me know. Maybe I'll do a video on that. I'm by no means a professional builder. I'm just a guy that likes to vape, and I like to build coils. So that's what I got. I don't want to get too rambly. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys next time.